in the USSR.
I would say good morning, but I'm not quite sure that I genuinely feel like it's that great of a morning. I'm pretty dismayed. I'm pretty discouraged. I think yesterday was humiliating, demoralizing, a total embarrassment for the United States. And, here's the truth. At the beginning of this, I actually had some sympathy for the genuine protesters who were down there to show some support. But what happened yesterday and Trump's response to it was an absolute disgrace. It was an absolute mistake. It's a real tragedy. Hey guys, it's Bucky Dillon, host of the Bucky Dillon Morning Show, brought to you by Liberty Revolt Media and 1360 KHNC Freedom Radio. The Bucky Dillon Show is a collaborative between myself and the freedom-loving patriot community here in Northern Colorado, across the country, and around the world, tuning in on the live stream, youtube.com/Liberty Revolt, or tuning into the radio broadcast at 1360 KHNC.com. Let's move forward. So it looks like the weather is going to be cooperative today, not as good as it was the last few days. It's going to stay in the mid-low 40s throughout the entire day. Mostly cloudy all day long, mild winds, no chance of rain, 78% humidity. Right now, it is 23 degrees, feels like 19 here in Northern Colorado on January 7th, 2021. It is Thursday edition of the Bucky Dillon Morning Show. Typically, I like to start off the day with something that happened in history on this day, and I wasn't sure if anything was going to be relevant to mention. However, in 1953, U.S. President Harry Truman announces American development for the hydrogen bomb. Guys, things are moving in the right direction. Let's see where this is going. So I'm going to catch you up with a few of the headlines that came out over the course of last night and get you caught up on just what is going on. As you know, yesterday was intended to be the certification of the Electoral College vote. A lot of people were hoping that Pence would just decline to accept that vote and he would counter it somehow. He does not have the legal authority to do so. So obviously that wasn't going to work. And then you had a lot of Republicans in the Senate who were going to protest the Electoral College results, saying that there was electoral fraud. Here's the truth, guys. Do I think mail-in voting en masse was a good idea? Probably not. Do I think it's susceptible to fraud? Probably not. Do I think there is any moral boundary that the left would not cross to get Trump out of office? No, there is not. Do I think there was some malarkey going on? Come on, man. Probably. But we have a legal process, and the legal process played out. I wasn't there. You weren't there. The legal process played out. Unless you can prove it in court, I don't know what to tell you, right? The most graceful thing Trump could have done is to say, hey, I have questions. I think there should be a thorough audit of this election. But upon the certification of the votes, step down with grace. Because what happened yesterday completely dismantled so much of the progress and the legitimacy of his movement. And it's a real tragedy because there were some genuine reasons why people elected Trump. And there was some policies he implemented that I actually thought were pretty good. I thought his foreign policy was pretty good. I thought his judges were pretty good. I thought his immigration was good for the country. I thought his expansion of our military prowess would be good. I think that his economic policies were for the most part good. I think it was good that he finally brought China into the conversation. But yesterday was the 6th, and some people say 1 million, some people say tens of thousands. Whatever it was, Trump supporters gathered en masse at the Capitol to protest the certification of the electoral results. And at some point in the night, some of the more enthusiastic members of this group decided that they were going to push through the police barricades and swarm the Capitol building. Do you guys understand how counterproductive that is? That was one of the stupidest moves I have ever seen in politics. That's exactly the same as what Antifa does. Exactly the same. And it legitimizes everything that they've been saying about Trump and about Trump supporters. I mean, in my opinion, the most important thing that Trump had done up until this point was to discredit the mainstream media, the communications branch of the Democratic Party, and make people question what they were hearing. But in a lot of ways, he proved them right. So these Trump supporters, they started seizing upon the Capitol building. The police forces were overwhelmed. And there are some that say that this was just a ploy, that the police forces were overwhelmed because they were intended to be overwhelmed. They wanted this to happen as a strategy to humiliate and demoralize the USA. Well, if that's the case, and I don't have any proof of that, other than we spend trillions and trillions of dollars on our defense budget, and we can't defend the most important building of our governmental institution. You're listening to 1360 KHNC. More when we come back from the break.
Most people think they can't afford to invest in gold and silver. But at the Patriot Trading Group, we believe that everyone should have the opportunity to own hard assets. That's why we created our Preferred Metals program. You can get started for as little as $100 a month. Go to allamericangold.com and click on our Preferred Metals icon to learn how you can get started today. Or call us at 800-951-0592. The Patriot Trading Group, allamericangold.com.
Join us and don't miss a moment of The Alex Jones Show, your number one source for real independent media. Find out what the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. InfoWars is pro-America, pro-family, pro-freedom. We are rebooting 1776. Exclusive reports, live coverage, information you won't find anywhere else. Tomorrow's news today. Stay informed by listening to KHNC 1360 AM.
Alex is here 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, right here on the Roar of the Rockies.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anita Chandra with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Choosing high-quality childcare is an important decision. Here are a few things to look for: positive relationships between teachers and children, time for children to play, clear health and safety policies, and good ways to keep you informed of your child's day. Finally, make sure you visit where your child will spend their day and meet all of the staff. For checklists to help make your decision, visit healthychildren.org.
Join us and don't miss a moment of The Alex Jones Show, your number one source for real independent media. Find out what the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. InfoWars is pro-America, pro-family, pro-freedom. We are rebooting 1776. Exclusive reports, live coverage, information you won't find anywhere else. Tomorrow's news today. Stay informed by listening to KHNC 1360 AM.
Alex is here 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, right here on the Roar of the Rockies.
So these Trump supporters, they start seizing the Capitol building. They storm in. They start going through the place. They're making a massive scene, just a reprehensible scene. Now, I don't think they had any plans whatsoever. This is not like it was a coordinated, we're going to take our country back. This was just a bunch of radical populist right. I don't know what they were thinking, honestly, because what is this going to produce? Now the Democrats have the White House. They have both parts of the Congress. And you think this is going to result in Trump winning? Absolutely not. The entire country, everyone on the left, everyone in the middle, and anyone in the moderate right was absolutely appalled. Okay? So all this is going to backfire horrendously. Okay? It re-legitimizes the media. This is going to be used as a club to bash Trump supporters and anyone on the right for indefinitely, right? This is going to add fuel and legitimacy to the authoritarian far left. This is going to add fuel to the claims that we need to censor conservatives and so-called right-wing activism on social media. This is going to lend fuel to the left's worst policy inclinations, such as gun control, gun confiscation. I mean, this was so counterproductive. Here's some more of the headlines. Trump's cabinet is considering using the 25th Amendment to remove him from office early. His own cabinet, including Republicans. Pence's chief of staff accuses him of locking him out of the White House. Mulvaney, Grissom, and other Trump administration resign after the Capitol riots. We had a woman shot, a veteran of 14 years shot dead. Lindsey Graham has urged his colleagues to drop all of the electoral objections. 4 dead, 52 arrested. Horrendous publicity that's going to be lauded over the right forever. Biden was certified as the president regardless. What a tragedy. What an absolute tragedy. This is absolutely reprehensible. And I feel bad for our country. The entire world saw this. It's not just people in our own country that are looking at this and cringing. It's the number one thing trending in the world. You don't think China is sitting back and celebrating this? They're loving every second of it. They were already having a great time. They already felt like they had used the coronavirus to absolutely humiliate and wreck the United States economy, to humiliate Trump. They were already celebrating the apparent success of Joe Biden and the mainstream media, which acts as nothing more than the communications branch of the Democratic Party. Oh yeah, you think there's any enemies of the United States that aren't enjoying every second of this? They are. Trump has conceded to Biden. He's calling for an orderly transition of power. Trump is blocked from Twitter, blocked from Facebook. The president of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I have had a lot of sympathy for Trump throughout the course of his presidency. And I'll break it down like this. I didn't like all of his rhetoric, but I also understood that the right doesn't have an activist base. Well, didn't have an activist base to the extent that the left did. The left was going out of control. And part of it was that if you're on the left, it's easy to stay inside your echo chamber, right? Because so many of our institutions are dominated by the left. There's only two things that I think the left does well: communications, cultural and political media, and activism, community organizing. I think their policies are terrible, counterproductive. But we just reinforced and strengthened all of that last night. So, hey, congratulations. Good job, everybody. I had a lot of sympathy for Trump up until this point because, you know, I felt like perhaps he genuinely meant well, right? I mean, we're talking about someone who left behind a billionaire lifestyle to do the toughest job in the United States and just be browbeaten day in and day out for 4 years, 5 years if you count his campaign. They slandered him pretty nastily there too. And I felt like, you know, perhaps he wasn't a philosopher, right? He didn't have a well-articulated, coherent political philosophy, but he was a fighter. And because the right had let the left just dominate every institution, they're being bullied all the time, pushed around. You can't turn on the TV without some pseudo late night host comedian shaming them, without a mainstream media that's lying to them, lying about them, selectively filtering what they cover and what they don't cover so they could push a political agenda. So-called journalists that will dig up anything from your past so that they can find some blemish to publicly beat you over the head with. And Trump and the actions of these so-called patriots reinforced all of that. They made it stronger. This media that Trump has been battling and effectively discrediting for the last 4 years, he just gave it right back to him. I don't know okay, the only people I see who are praising this, I think they're missing the plot. This is not how we achieve our ends. This is counterproductive. This turns sympathy for the opposition of the movement in the heart of the American people. Because here's the truth. Most people aren't interested in politics. Most people have jobs and families and interests that aren't depressing, like looking into the comedic tragedy that is our political environment. And all they catch is little headlines here and there. That's why so many people were swayed by the disproportionate left-dominated media and the media smears. Half of Biden supporters had never heard the Hunter Biden story, right? And we have people who are now saying that, well, this is just what happens. The right is full of conspiracy theories and demagoguery. Well, so is the left. So is the left. But perhaps on the right, I could understand that maybe it's a little bit more extreme. Because where are they turning for information when almost every news outlet is either corporate run like Fox News or openly left-wing and browbeating them day in and day out? So I had some genuine sympathies for the people who are going there and protesting in good faith. But this isn't going to work out for us, guys. This is going to be a club that is beaten over our heads. All this did was super motivate the Democrats who now hold the Senate, the House, and the presidency. Super motivate. Trump's own supporters and cabinet members think he should be removed from office now. Good luck, America. Good luck. And, I was talking with some friends last night about what do we think is going to happen from here? Are things going to escalate or de-escalate? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? If you had to make a bet between things getting worse, between more violence or less, what do you think it's going to be? Guys, you can call the station and have a conversation with me. That number is 970-587-5171. Again, the phone number if you want to call in and join me live on the air. 587-5171. I would love to get your thoughts. Let's have a conversation about it. So please call in if you're on your morning drive. Be responsible. Call in when you are in a safe, appropriate place to call in while driving. Again, it is 6:26 a.m. Thursday, January 7th, anniversary of the day President Harry Truman announced American development of the hydrogen bomb. One thing that is interesting about the hydrogen bomb, so the atom bomb is what the United States dropped on Japan in World War II, leveled entire cities, right? The hydrogen bomb uses an atom bomb for the trigger, just to put it in perspective. The forecast is going to be mostly mild, low 40s throughout the course of the day, mostly cloudy, no chance of rain, mild wind. Trump needed to come out and condemn this harshly, decisively, and immediately when this was going on. Even though it's up to the governor to call in the National Guard, Trump should have immediately put out a message calling for the governor to call in the National Guard. And eventually they did show up, it looks like. I cannot believe this happened. But I will say, I would certainly rather see political activists storm Congress than storm Target. But it's exactly the same. And all of these Trump supporters, conservatives, Republicans, whatever you want to call it, who have been correctly pointing out that the left-wing demonstrations have been violent and counterproductive and divisive, are largely some of the same people who are saying that this is okay. This is not okay. And I actually do have some suspicion that perhaps this was intended to happen. Joe Jaquith the other day suggested that perhaps just maybe the police at the Capitol building had a little sympathy for what was going on. I'm going to put a caller on the air. Caller, are you on the line?
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Hello. Fine, thanks.
What's your name?
Hey, my name's Robert. We got comments?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've called the show before, and I think as long as the New World Order, the globalists, as long as they have us divided, there is no hope. I mean, look at we choose our politicians like we choose our teams, and this has been going on for who knows how long. And I believe the presidency is an appointment, and it's an appointment because the powers that be continue to run the show. The president's their own.
I think you may have a point. We'll have to get back to you after the break. Just hold on.
This is Larry Jagger, the host of the SCL Mortgage Show. SCL has a loan program for just about every residential need. Listen and learn what that means to you on Saturday at 12 noon on KHNC 1360. NMLS number 1200716.
No people will tamely surrender their liberties, nor can any be easily subdued when knowledge is diffused and virtue is preserved. On the contrary, when people are universally ignorant and debauched in their manners, they will sink under their own weight without the aid of foreign invaders. Samuel Adams.
The Federal Reserve is in control of our money, but lately control is the last word you would use to describe the Fed. Emergency rate cuts, huge increases in their balance sheet, the constant blowing of bubbles and boom and bust cycles that just leave most of us busted. I'm Joe Jaquin, owner of the Patriot Trading Group, and we have been protecting people's wealth for almost 25 years. Stop playing the Fed's game and get your wealth protected. Call us at 800-951-0592 or visit our website at allamericangold.com.
How would you like to get a free IRS deduction, possibly saving hundreds of dollars on your taxes, and do something good? If you've got an old car, you can donate it to help veterans. It's a pain to try and sell a car yourself. So pick up your phone and make a free call to Veteran Car Donations. They'll come and get your vehicle within a few days for free and give you a receipt to use for your tax refund. Of course, check with your accountant for details. Now is the perfect opportunity to help veterans and get rid of an old car. Veteran Car Donations will come and get it for free. We only ask for 2 minutes of your time right now on the phone to get the whole process started. So please help the vets and make this free call now.
800-223-3831. 800-223-3831. 800-223-3831. That's 800-223-3831.
You might want to sit down before you hear this. Inactivity leads to 3.2 million deaths a year. So actually, you might want to stand up. Whoa, you just did a squat. See what we did there? All right, everyone, just take a seat. Oh, now stand up. That's 2. Feel that burning in your thighs? That means you're doing it right. Feels good, doesn't it? Get started at heart.org/make-moves. Unless you're doing squats. Those can come first.
Join me on Open Forum Thursdays, 11 to 1. World hegemony, new currencies, global societies, weather warfare, environmental agendas. Again, Thursday, 11 to 1, 1360 KHNC, Rick Rodriguez.
Hey, caller, if you want to call back, I was enjoying where that conversation was going. Again, that call-in number is 970-587-5171. I don't know if we lost you over the break. I was hoping you'd hold on, but that's okay. We will continue on. So it's true. There is a global agenda by powers way up the top of the food chain. I have people who genuinely believe that Trump has been just a plant from the very beginning, that this has been nothing more than a horse and pony show. There are people who say that the global agenda of the economic and political elite of the world has felt like America has run its course. You see, for the last 200 years, America has been the goose that lays the golden egg. We've been the strongest military and economic force on the planet. But now there's competitors to that. There are countries that these globalists, these bankers, the people that you would think of as to be part of the Bilderberg group, these elites, the real elites, that they see the Chinese model as the model that they would like to implement around the world. I'm going to put a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. As you were saying.
Well, to take off on your point, the role of Trump in this era now to bring in the vaccine, it's got his name on it, the Trump vaccine. Now that's more palatable and easy for people to swallow than could you imagine the Hillary vaccine? Heck, they'd have no chance. They're going to have an uphill battle as it is. But as we are all wearing masks, we're all going to be taking the vaccines as much as we allow. And as long as we have someone to root for in terms of our president, who is just a figurehead, just like we do our team, Broncos versus Raiders, there is no chance. The passions lie there. The passions of those people in Washington are great, but it should have been to demand that we open up the country, to demand that we give aid to these poor restaurant owners who go to work every day. And now some of them have nothing, and some of them, go as far as committing suicide. Imagine if the shoe was, if you were in their place. So that's how I feel. And as far as it goes here in Colorado, you can go to DIA and see it right there. New World Commission Airport. Who puts that? And these aren't conspiracy theories. People don't want to face the truth. They don't want to face the truth that, yeah, you said it. Trump is just he's a pawn. And it would be awful if he knew it and was going along with it. But a country that would drop the towers, and you can go on down the line of the atrocities that our own country and people have been putting our people through, troops that are dying of needless wars. And, people just need to wake up and not put their faith in a man, not put their faith in Washington. But that's not going to happen because, again, it's your team versus my team. But the most important thing now is this vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And even your folks, you don't even give him the credit of bringing in the vaccine. But, I'm just frustrated to that point. But, I guess the energy has to just keep going and telling people that, this whole pandemic is almost like 9/11. We know something's going on, something's wrong, but we don't want to face the truth because we want to put our faith in a man. Biden, Trump, Obama, Reagan.
Yeah, and you know what? Putting faith in politicians is a mistake because it is a tendency of politicians, just in the nature of politics, to overstep. I mean, the worst kind of people go into that work. I mean, they're essentially glorified actors is what they are. And Trump, he's a professional actor, right? A lot of people say that he was chosen by the powers that be to be the agent provocateur, to stir up controversy, to stir this up, whatever. But yeah, this pandemic, the lockdowns, it's almost all designed to just crush the United States.
And I'm not bashing Trump. I'm just saying to Fauci and to Gates and the people that head his departments are all pharmaceutical presidents. That Montez Flowey, and you could go on. But like I said, the role of Trump was to bring in this vaccine. Like I said, a Trump vaccine is more palatable than a Hillary vaccine. And it's all going to be vaccine world right now. In the future, you're not going to be able to do anything. Just like the masks. The masks are a placeholder for the vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And until we recognize that, like this whole scamdemic, the whole control virus, and you guys are, smart enough to, reveal all that to your listeners. And, that's why I listen to you guys, because you guys are the only guys that go that far. But you haven't gone far enough to, like you just said it, Trump is just a pawn, in this whole dog and pony show. And the public will continue to eat it up. And you get what you get yesterday. Hello?
Oh, sorry. Thanks for calling. I'm going to open up the phone lines again. I really appreciate you contributing to the show. I really appreciate you listening,
appreciate
man.
you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, I think our friend here has a very legitimate point. A very legitimate point. And I think so much of what has been going on has been the rise of China now becoming the bankers' golden society. That is the model that they would like to see imported around the world. Because America was militarily strong and economically strong, that we didn't really have any legitimate competitors for quite a while. That is no longer the case. The rise of China has been astonishing, and they love that top-down control. David Rockefeller said, whatever, I'm trying to remember the exact quote, whatever the consequences of Mao's communist revolution, it's remarkable the system that they've put in place now is something to that effect. But to put the situation into context, China's GDP as of 2016 was about the same as ours. In purchasing power, it's 25% larger. In terms of dollar values, their currency stands at 33% less than ours. So our GDPs are about the same. However, China's economy is growing twice as fast. At this pace, it will double every 10 to 12 years. Sometime in the early 2020s, it is almost certain that their economy will surpass ours. And this year, looks like that has officially happened. More on this after the break. You're listening to the Bucky Dillon Morning Show on 1360 KHNC.
If you love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animated contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsel nor your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains be set lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were ever our countrymen. Samuel Adams.
Hi, this is Joe Jaquin, owner of the Patriot Trading Group. I'm sure you're probably aware of the reputations of many of the precious metals dealers here in the Front Range. I talk to customers all the time that know gold and silver are strong investments, that they are a hedge against a volatile economy. But these customers don't know where to buy gold and silver and are very justifiably concerned that they'll get ripped off. So I want to make you this promise. At Patriot Trading Group, there are no commission salespeople. We don't make outbound phone calls. We don't try to upsell you into some scam or package that we created. We don't disclose your information to anyone ever. The majority of our business comes from referrals and long-time repeat customers. If you're looking to learn about or invest in precious metals, give us a call at 800-951-0592 or go to allamericangold.com. That's 800-951-0592 or go to allamericangold.com. The Patriot Trading Group. No salespeople, no calls, just old-fashioned service.
Join us and don't miss a moment of the Alex Jones Show, your number one source for real independent media. Find out what the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. InfoWars is pro-America, pro-family, pro-freedom. We are rebooting 1776. Exclusive reports, live coverage, information you won't find anywhere else. Tomorrow's news today. Stay informed by listening to KHNC 1360 AM.
Alex is here 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, right here on the Roar of the Rockies.
It's a tough day for our country. Thursday, January 7th, 2021. I was just explaining why China is the model they would like to see exported around the world. And a lot of their economic gains have been manifested by bankers controlling their monetary system and showing special favor to it. But they are outpacing us in so many ways. They're the only industrial country throughout the course of this year 2020 to actually grow their GDP, to expand their economy. And part of it was, unlike the United States, they didn't implement a bunch of counterproductive so-called safety protocols and and so-called stimulus packages. What they did is they immediately started with the lockdown, and they sanitized the entire city. I don't know if you've seen footage of it, but everyone was sent into their apartments. There's no houses in China. Everyone was sent into their apartments, and giant trucks with giant spray machines on the back drove through the entire cities and essentially just bug bombed it. They set up checkpoints around the city where they were testing people's temperatures and sanitizing all of the vehicles. And if anyone was showing signs of a fever or whatever, they separated from the group. But their stimulus policy was to put infrastructure in place. They put people to work instead of shutting people out of work. They put most of the country to work building bridges, building roads, building manufacturing infrastructure, right? And this allowed them to get money out to their citizens, but also to develop long-lasting, financially viable infrastructure that would make their economy stronger in the long term. They outnumber us 5-1. China's population is growing beyond 1.4 billion. The population disparities between the US and China will eventually express themselves in an upwelling of human capital in China. Their urban areas put ours to shame. One part of the skyline of one inconsequential Chinese city dwarfs that of LA by orders of magnitude. China has not been slow to exploit its burgeoning urban potential by creating opportunity zones and diversifying different cities by different industries. In education, we've brought hundreds of Chinese students into our top universities to get high-end degree in the STEM fields. Those students then go back to China to compete against ours. It graduates 4 times as many STEM bachelors and twice as many doctorates, and the disparity is growing. Last I heard, every year, China graduates more engineers than the United States has engineers. Trump has said repeatedly that our economy is doing well and China's is doing poorly. He's misinformed. And because of the top-down control and the compliance, the eager compliance of the Chinese citizenry, that is the model that the world elite would like to see imposed. And the Chinese people, they don't look to our system, especially in times like this, and say, oh yeah, we'd be better off if we had a system more like that. I think our caller's right. I think these global elites are on a mission to put the United States on the decline. We've at the very least absolutely destroyed our public image, our reputation. Nobody's looking at the US and thinking, what a grand and glorious system. What a grand and glorious society. Wow, they've really got it together. Call in. That number is 970-587-5171. I'd love to get you on the air and have a conversation with you. Again, it is Thursday, January 7th. The weather's going to be overall cooperative, a little chillier than it was the last couple days. This is the anniversary of when President Harry Truman announced American development of the hydrogen bomb. Let's hope it never comes to that. Again, I have to reiterate, what happened last night was so counterproductive. This is going to haunt the freedom, the freedom movement for a long time. Freedom of expression. I mean, the social media giants were already nervous of the left taking control of their businesses. I guarantee you, every left-wing politician, every left-wing media entity, our cultural betters in Hollywood, they're all going to be putting pressure on social media and saying this is their fault for letting Trump supporters speak. This is their fault for letting libertarian right-wing activists speak. And hopefully we'll be able to keep the movement alive, but I am discouraged about everything that happened last night. This was a tragedy. Again, you can call in 970-587-5171. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What's your opinion on everything going on? I would love to hear from you. Biden has officially won the nomination for the presidency. So that's great. We have that doddering old fool at the helm of our country. We're on the right path. Buy your gold, ladies and gentlemen. allamericangold.com. $20 liberties. Let's see the headlines in the aftermath. You're listening to the Bucky Dillon Morning Show, our morning show, a collaborative between myself and the freedom-loving patriot community that was not at the Capitol last night. Thanks for tuning in.
It's happening to you every night. One snores and the other can't sleep. It seems like there's no end to it. But now there's a quick and easy to use solution, a natural solution. Snore Stop. Try it risk-free today. Snore Stop was created and tested by a team of physicians and has been helping couples sleep for over 20 years. It is the #1 selling anti-snoring medicine in the U.S. Snore Stop sprays or tablets are now available nationwide. All you have to do is call. It's time to try Snore Stop and make every night a better night for both of you. Don't wait. Try Snore Stop, the #1 selling anti-snoring medicine in the U.S. spray or tablets. Call right now for free shipping and your 100% risk-free trial offer. 800-932-1745. 800-932-1745. 800-932-1745. That's 800-932-1745.
Reasons to own gold. Reason number 725.
The government goes out of its way to make you believe Social Security has an account with your name on it with money just for you. But the Supreme Court ruled that payments due under Social Security are not property rights and are not protected. Social Security is merely a tax, and the government is under no obligations to pay you anything. Call the Patriot Trading Group, 800-951-0592, or visit allamericangold.com.
It is not because men have made laws that life, liberty, and property exist. On the contrary, it is because life, liberty, and property existed beforehand that men made laws in the first place. What then is law? It is the collective organization of the individual right to lawful defense and punishing injustice. Frederick Bastiat, The Law.
Hey everybody, we are
Lady Antebellum.
When we started out in Nashville, we never imagined what we were going to be able to achieve. We got here because we worked together and had each other's backs.
In America, we have the privilege of being a diverse society made up of people from all kinds of backgrounds. And that's a big part of what makes this country such a great place to live.
When we put aside our differences and work together, there is no challenge too great to overcome. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Join us and don't miss a moment of The Alex Jones Show, your #1 source for real independent media. Find out what the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. InfoWars is pro-America, pro-family, pro-freedom. We are rebooting 1776. Exclusive reports, live coverage, information you won't find anywhere else. Tomorrow's news today. Stay informed by listening to KHNC 1360 AM.
Alex is here 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, right here on the Roar of the Rockies.
KHNC, Freedom Radio. Hey, looks like we have a caller. I'm going to put the caller on the air straight. No check to see who it is. Good morning. Who's on the air?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. What do you think about all the events downtown last night?
You know, it was actually disappointing. I understand the level of frustration with people from the Republican Party right now probably should be running pretty high. And as much as the social media pretty much blocking any and everything that conservative thinking people want to say.
Hey, Herb, is there any way you could get a little louder? We're having a real hard time hearing you.
Give me a second.
All right. Yeah, it was absolutely frustrating to see what was going on. I was shocked. So far, we've managed, and I hate to use the word we because I don't want to attach myself to any of what happened last night, but so far, the left has been characterized by this kind of behavior. And, you know, of course, now all the headlines, CNN, MSNBC says that this was an absolute insurrection act, right? There's pictures going around of a man walking around the Capitol building with a Confederate flag. There's, which I think is disgusting. I don't know why anyone still waves Confederate. Do you not know what those optics look like? It doesn't matter.
I don't think
it doesn't matter what opinion you hold and how much merit your economic policy might be. If you're waving around a Confederate flag, 90% of the country is going to immediately think you're the bad guy, because honestly,
exactly.
It kind of is.
You almost have to ask yourself, were there any agents provocateur involved in all of this? Because it seemed to go off the rails way too quick. For the conservative people who across the country would prefer to sit down and discuss things, get things worked out that way, to see a group of people actually follow through on what they've done or what they did yesterday, it makes me question everything that we saw. Trump, yeah, he definitely should have stepped up and said something much sooner. It's disappointing because I see the country heading in the wrong direction, and it's almost signed, sealed, and delivered now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think this just lent credibility to the other side. And as far as the notion that perhaps there were professional provocateurs engaged, I think that could be possible. But I also feel like the rhetoric coming from a lot of the Republican senators, House members, media entities, overstating their case on election fraud. I mean, yeah, obviously, if you convince people for 2 months that democracy has absolutely failed them, I mean, this you can almost expect something like this to happen. And, you know, I've been saying this for a while. Once you go down this path, you can't walk it back. Hold on. Hopefully you'll stick around through the break. Thank you so much.
Does this corrupt monetary system give you a whack to the head or a poke in the eye? Call Patriot Trading Group at 800-951-0592. That's 800-951-0592. Don't be a stooge. Buy gold and silver today.
Hey guys, actually, I wasn't paying attention. That was the final segment. Thank you for tuning into the Bucky Dillon Morning Show. I'll catch you tomorrow morning.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Investors are looking past yesterday's violence on Capitol Hill and are repositioning portfolios, anticipating a Biden administration and Congress controlled by Democrats. There's anticipation of new stimulus and infrastructure spending, with the economy being helped by rollouts of COVID-19 vaccines, but higher corporate taxes